Well, first of all, I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land and to all ancestors, past and present. I feel so privileged to have been here this evening, to have heard the very moving poetry that the welcome to country. Thank you so much. And also for sharing your own experiences. And to have been able to hear this amazing conversation about Palestinian Aboriginal solidarity. I was actually just thinking that it would be great to continue to listen to all of you, especially since I too am a little jet lagged. But I think what I want to do is say in the beginning that if one looks at the Black movement, that particularly in relation to the upsurges and uprisings in the summer of 2020, in response to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, which have had a global impact. And I want to say that that confidence that it is possible eventually to end racism was generated in part by Black Palestinian solidarity. And certainly the global dimensions of our movement. As someone who's always believed that internationalism is the call that is coming to us from the future, that we cannot accomplish anything significant if we don't consolidate the internationalism of this era. I'm also someone who's been involved with Palestine solidarity since I was an undergraduate, attending a Jewish university, attending Brandeis University, yeah. And it was from my Jewish classmates that I learned about the importance of Palestine solidarity. And I say this as we all witness the leadership that progressive and radical Jewish organizations are giving to the global movement. And Jewish Voice for Peace, for example, who, was it today or was it yesterday? I'm confused about the time, who went to the Statue of Liberty and conducted a major demonstration calling upon people to support the struggle for justice for Palestine. I'm also now remembering the words of a Palestinian American activist whose name is Linda Sarsour. And I had the opportunity to hear her during the first days following October 7th. And she said this. I think I'm just going to read her statement. It's a short statement. And For decades, she said, the state of Israel murdered Palestinian men, women, and children, imprisoned our uncles and fathers with no charges or trials, stole our land, evicted us from our homes, uprooted our olive trees, humiliated our women, desecrated our holy sites, bombed our holy sites, bombed entire residential buildings. Israeli settlers burned homes and cars and killed innocent civilians on the watch of the government. And never once, she said, did I feel the urge for collective punishment for an entire people because of the actions of some. I was outraged, I was angry, and through my rage, I demanded justice, accountability, and freedom for my people. And she goes on to describe the conditions then in Gaza, and we know those conditions have deteriorated to the point of not being able to sustain life because of the actions of the IDF and the Israeli government. But she goes on to describe the conditions then, which were already the lack of electricity and the withdrawal of fuel and the cutting off of the water. And she went on to say, and now there are folks who want you to once again believe that Gaza equals Hamas, and that every civilian is a target and or collateral damage. They want you to believe that somehow carpet bombing a people under siege with no way out will somehow resurrect the innocent or end this horrific violence. And then she concludes by saying, to my Palestinian family, I know this is hard. I know we are on edge. I know we are mourning. But we will resist the urge to take on the characteristics of our occupiers. And I think about her, each time I participate in an event around solidarity with Palestine. I remember participating in a Zoom event with her early on, and she was weeping during the entire program. But when it came time for her to speak, she found her voice, and she spoke powerfully, and I think we can learn a great deal about her capacity to combine mourning with stalwart resistance, and there are, what is happening in Gaza is in so many ways unbelievable. I don't know whether I have ever witnessed anything like that before. Of course, we have the technological capacity to use the current means of communication to give us the images and to allow us to hear live interviews with representatives of the government of Israel and of the IDF, in which they have no problems speaking about Palestinians as human animals. And as current instantiations of Nazis. And there's something that I think that we can learn about developing an approach to identity that is only based on repeated rehearsals of trauma and victimization. One of the things that I have learned in the course of studying the history of people of African descent, who are the people from whom I'm descended, that what has been so important about the struggle for Black liberation in the Americas is not so much the violence that was inflicted on Black people, but rather their capacity not only to fight back, but to affect transformative beauty in the process, to create something new, and not to have to rely on repeated rehearsals of trauma for a sense of identity. And I see this also in Aboriginal people who teach us, how to develop a relationship with the land that is, very different from what the colonizers have attempted to promote. Yeah. I was going to say something else, but during this period, I've been thinking a great deal about a Black feminist poet by the name of June Jordan, and she was involved. She became involved in the struggle for justice for Palestine very early. I don't know, in the 70s and 80s. And I thought that I would share a poem, since we've had the opportunity to hear, poetry and your amazing rap, that I would share a poem, if I can find it, that she wrote in 1982, I believe. And the poem begins with a quote from the New York Times, September 20th, 1982. "Where is Abu Fadi?" she wailed. "Who will bring me my loved one?" And so June, who incidentally was a very close friend of mine, and I learned a great deal about the importance of emphasizing Black Palestinian solidarity from her. She goes on to write, "I do not wish to speak about the bulldozer and the red dirt, not quite covering all of the arms and legs. Nor do I wish to speak about the night-long screams that reached the observation posts where soldiers lounged about. Nor do I wish to speak about the woman who shoved her baby into the stranger's hands before she was led away. Nor do I wish to speak about the father whose sons were shot through the head while they slit his own throat before the eyes of his wife. Nor do I wish to speak about the army that lit continuous flares into the darkness so that the others could see the backs of their victims lined against the wall. Nor do I wish to speak about the piled up bodies and the stench that will not float. Nor do I wish to speak about the nurse again and again raped before they murdered her on the hospital floor. Nor do I wish to speak about the rattling bullets that did not halt on that keening trajectory. Nor do I wish to speak about the pounding on the doors and the breaking of the windows and the hauling of families into the world of the dead. I do not wish to speak about the bulldozer and the red dirt not quite covering all of the arms and legs, because I do not wish to speak about unspeakable events that must follow from those who dare to purify a people, those who dare to exterminate a people, those who dare to describe human beings as beasts with 2 legs, those who dare to mop up, to tighten the noose, to step up the military pressure, to ring around civilian streets with tanks, those who dare to close the universities, to abolish the press, to kill the elected representatives of the people who refuse to be purified. Those are the ones from whom we must redeem the words of our beginning. Because I need to speak about home. I need to speak about living room, where the land is not bullied and beaten to a tombstone. I need to speak about living room where the talk will take place in my language. I need to speak about living room where my children will grow without horror. I need to speak about living room where the men of my family between the ages of 6 and 65 are not marched into a roundup that leads to the grave. I need to speak about living room where I can sit without grief, without wailing aloud for my loved ones, where I must not ask, where is Abu Fadi? Because he will be there beside me. I need to talk about living room because I need to talk about home. I was born a Black woman, and now I am become a Palestinian against the relentless laughter of evil. There is less and less living room. And where are my loved ones? It is time to make our way home.
Yeah.
Thank you.